Hey sis, have you ever noticed that like when you started healing, you started seeing things and people differently? Like just the way you see them in general, it starts changing. For example, like certain conversations, certain environments feel like draining, certain behaviors like they stand out more than they did before. And it's like people you once felt deeply connected to, they may suddenly feel emotionally misaligned. Like you don't feel like you're aligned anymore with some people. And honestly, that can feel kind of confusing if you're going through that while you're going through it. Because part of you start to wonder like, am I changing or am I finally starting to see things clearly or see things as they really are? If that's you, let's talk about it. My name's Melinda. I'm a registered nurse, life coach, and mentor. And on our channel, we focus on faith, healing, and emotional wellness. If any parts of this message touches you, please give me a thumbs up to let me know that you're feeling the message. And if you like the vibe, then please, I'd love to have you to please subscribe. I'm trying to grow the channel. I'm a newer channel, okay? So back to our message. So thing you start to wonder and you maybe start saying stuff like, am I changing or am I just finally seeing stuff clearer? Because the thing is that healing, it changes like more than emotions. Okay, it changes your awareness too. Yep. But let's talk about why does it change? Why does the awareness and stuff like that change? Well, because when people spend like long periods of time like surviving and people pleasing or over functioning or emotionally adapting, what happens is they often ignore things that like cause them discomfort, maybe their boundaries, maybe the emotional exhaustion, and their deeper needs maybe get like abandoned while you're going through all that other stuff. But it's not because you're weak or anything like that. It's mainly because survival mode basically teaches people to tolerate what they should pay attention to. And so healing though, it slows down everything. So when you're in survival mode, you're on that fast, just paying attention to certain things. But when you're starting to heal, then that kind of slows everything down. And then what happens is when that happens, then you may start noticing like patterns, different energy shifts, emotional safety issues, consistency, like was it there, or how relationships actually affect you internally. You'll start like paying attention to that, like that kind of stuff. And let me give you an analogy, like to kind of make it bring it home. Like analogy would be like it's like cleaning up a fog window. Okay, like if you know how sometimes it's foggy outside, or if it's cold one night, then it's hot the next day, and your windows are fogged up. It's like a fogged up window. At first, everything is blurry, right? But then as the clarity starts to return, now you can start seeing more vivid details and you can see things more clear. And it was always there, you just didn't see it because of the fog that was out there. That's kind of how this is. And it's not because people suddenly changed or anything like that that you're seeing things. It's just because your awareness started to deepen and now you have a deeper awareness of what's going on. So let's talk about though like what this can look like, because sometimes healing, these are things that it can cause people to notice when you start healing. Okay, you could start to notice who actually drains you. Before you may not have paid attention because you was dealing with so many different things, but now since everything is slowed down and you can feel everything, you can see who actually drains you. You also could see who was manipulating you, like maybe emotionally, like taking advantage of you. You could also begin maybe to see like who shows up when it's convenient and who's there for you like a rider. Yeah, okay. Some people only show up when they're gonna get something or when it's convenient for them. But then you have some people that are really supportive and will be by your side. But you start to kind of differentiate which is which when you start healing and everything slows down. You also could see who genuinely brings peace and who is chaotic and who you just like, oh, I can't do them today. But who brings peace, you're like, yes, I feel like safe and secure and stuff like that. And then emotionally, that awareness, what it can do is create distance naturally. Because why you want to gravitate to healing and peace and therapeutic environments and stuff like that. Because now, once you start seeing the patterns, it becomes harder to ignore it because now it's front and center, like the fog is gone. So now you can see everything clearly. Now, let's talk about physiologically what happens internally, okay? What healing does is it often increases like self awareness. You become more aware. It also helps you to have more emotional regulation. Like you can just stay calmer and you can just not get involved in all the arguments and the all the fussing and stuff. You could just be like, you know what, I'm not even wanting to get involved in that. You could also have like boundary awareness, like where your boundaries are. You can be like, nope, I said I wasn't doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm good. And you could also have like a nervous system sensitivity, meaning you could feel when something's off or when something's like people that are difficult. You could feel like when it's kind of making you get dysregulated or you're not regulated. So things that like once felt normal, maybe like they may no longer feel emotionally safe or aligned. They may not feel like that anymore. And then your mind may be thinking and saying stuff like, why does this relationship suddenly feel different? But the thing is, it's like internally your nervous system may be like, I no longer want to abandon myself to maintain a connection with a friend or whoever, family, whatever, family member, relationship. You could be like, I don't want to have this connection if it's going to come at this cost. You know what I'm saying? If the cost is too high. And then now, healing though, it doesn't make you better than people. None of us are better than anybody. We're all good people or whatever. Most of us are good people. There are some people that do things, but it doesn't make us better than anyone because we've healed or because we can acknowledge this. But what it does is it changes what you tolerate, what you normalize, and what you emotionally connect to. It's not that, you're saying you're better than anybody. It's just I'm not dealing with low vibrational stuff. I'm in a healthy place right now and I don't want to go backwards and lower my standards or boundaries to go down here when I'm up here. Okay? And so that's growth. That's what it's called. It's growth. Okay? And sometimes distance is not bitterness. It's just that, I believe that sometimes different people come in your life in different seasons for a reason, but also I believe that sometimes the season is over for certain people. You know what I'm saying? If you are growing constantly and they aren't growing and they're draining you and all that, maybe that season, this is not the season right now, because right now you're in a growing season and you need to be around people and things that flourish you, okay, and that build you up, not pull you down. Okay. And so God, as God's children, like he often changes, he wants us to have what brings us peace. Okay. He doesn't want us to be in a chaotic life and things like that. He wants you to have a life of peace and fulfillment. Okay. So not every connection is meant to continue for a lifetime. It's just not everybody can go where you're going all the time. And sometimes growth is lonely because it's hard that you have to sometimes you're growing, but this group right here or this person is staying stagnant and you're growing. Now it doesn't even feel good to even be around it, and you could feel yourself being pulled down when you're around stuff like that. So not every connection is meant to continue through every season of growth. And sometimes clarity is just part of that healing, to see that, to actually see that clearly. So if healing has changed you or changed the way people see you, just understand that you're not becoming cold or anything like that. You're becoming more aware of what's going on around you because you're healing, and that is also protecting your peace, and it's honoring like your discernment, like you're being able to see things clearly and discern that, okay, this is bad, okay, they use me, they only come around for this, you, okay, this is about to be a lot, they about to bring all this energy, negativity, I can't do that today, you know what I mean? You're just having boundaries and stuff like that. So if this message helped you, please like and subscribe. As always, I'm wishing you peace, love, joy, and happiness. Okay? Bye.